This is Moral Gray Zone 2, Self-Determination. There is definitely hypocrisy involved in colonizer class creating rules and sanctions to prevent illegal actions against those who put you down. Military treaties, UN meetings, and other authorities of the hegemonic dominant culture telling people to settle down like other people told the natives to settle their wars and savagery, quote unquote. Um, Settling differences, as settlers have all told us. Sounds gross to walk the line in, obviously, but it's not the same as why do you get to tell me to do the rules? So these ideas begin or more noticed around the time of World War I, when self-determination of the individual was upheld by the Allies and promoted especially by Woodrow Wilson in his 14 points, which mentioned self-determination as an important principle for individual rights within their own state. The logic downstreamed into breaking apart the Ottoman Empire and former Russian territories that bloomed into new states as determination models, whether it was rising up against something it considered foreign or the dichotomy of oppressor class versus oppressed class. The Irish only got their self determination after there was a war for it. Um, Initially, this idea of self determination was limited by a few things: political, cultural, and other ways of life. So the UN recognizes changing society via Article 1, Paragraph 2, and Article 55, Paragraph 1. Current day self determination has morphed into a collective thing. Maybe it was, but with the focus of larger amounts of people, does degrade into complications depending on the time and place. Not to generalize, depends on who and where, obviously, and the attitudes at the time. I say this causes complications because this does not get focused along because this does get focused along ethnic lines, unfortunately. It becomes a very dangerous coin flip of essentialism. There was this debate I followed for a while with Professor Flowers versus Vaush. Somehow the great replacement was brought up, and ethnic cleansing and whatever, but under the passive aggressive euphemism of they have the right to self determination along ethnic lines in Africa, but was mixed up with American racist talking points like replacement when the topic was worrying about white and black separation in Africa, not America. But the debate kept ending up about the relations and fears in America based on the propaganda of the Great Replacement. Um, so, with a dash of black nationalism involved, with the convo, obviously. So I can't really speak worldwide, but in the West, this would not work, let alone Africa. So we look at history and see grand moments happening, that things worked out eventually once they got their way, and we say it's okay to use certain history as a model. But with this moral gray zone of copying determination, it's a no limits fallacy. If 70% of the nation average citizen agreed to separate, this isn't so simple to cast away the other 30%. Millions to eventual billions as our population expands relative to the slowdown would be maybe dead if this was hoisted on as a large sweep. In the West and in Africa, humans are heavily mixed and ambiguous where it does not matter anymore for mixed heritage to separate. But it does matter to the hypothetical 7% to separate. In the West, if self-determination did happen, it would be racist and one-drop rule insanity. It would not matter that generationally mixed families would be judged. Average everyday mixed families would feel this, but it's for the most part essentialist. Policies and the authorities within the racist hatchet um, with the racist hatchet over our heads that casually benefit privileged people who don't decide the law are grouped with the concept of the policies. There is a difference between well meaning people and the racist system. Everyone can hold racist and bigotry ideas, though it's easier to see the compatibility of policies and people it benefits. To the racist, hypocritical, to the racist hypothetical 70%, the hatchet becomes mixed people thinking they're traitors. To the 30%, the hatchet smooths down the sharp end to realize love is possible. But will it be possible if we really go down this road, which America isn't talking about? The the fear mongering legacy American types are only talking about this, but they're not the oppressed class. They're the oppressor class. So this conversation is not necessarily relevant to America, but it could become relevant. And if it becomes relevant, even if we think it's simple with our terms of black and white, it's not simple. It's so not simple. Um, have you ever heard the term octoroon and stuff like that? It just keeps you just keep dividing the different types of bloodlines you have until it becomes arbitrary. All right, that's it.